Hello there, everyone. Ashlea Bullington, and I have the one, the only Matt Diggs. A little bit different. He is not here at the moment, but he's on the camera. I know. I mean, this is so weird. Like, you're not sitting right next to me, Diggs.
I'm like in my recliner in Parker, Texas, ready to talk the great game.
Is it bad that I'm super jealous that you're at home and I'm here?
Well, you're the one who's getting paid the big bucks. I'm just here to make you look good.
But Diggs, like, I'm all by myself.
I thought we weren't singing. That was on the list of things we were not allowed to do anymore.
Well, I sang, okay?
Okay, there you go.
So, Diggs, we didn't have anything tonight. It's Friday. We don't have anything. So.
It's Pottsboro against Brock.
That was last night, Diggsy.
But still, it was an amazing game. It's happened. It's done.
I mean, tell me about this game because I didn't watch it.
Well, you should have watched it.
I was stuck here,
It was a game that went down to the last minute. Brock did not get stopped at any point during the game. They scored touchdowns the first 5 times they had the football. The 6th time they had the football, Pottsboro finally got their first stop, and they finally got the lead on that. And then Brock went for the game, and with seconds left, they threw an interception in the end zone. And Pottsboro will be going to AT&T Stadium to represent the DFW area.
How excited are you for this game? You seem like you're pretty excited for this Pottsboro game.
It was a fantastic football game. I mean, Pottsboro and Brock, that is good times. And then when you get probably a game against Grandview, if
the Zebras
things work out there, the Zebras will have Pottsboro versus Grandview for the state championship. That is DFW versus DFW football in DFW. So, hey, talk about that on Houston show.
I was actually talking about the Houston show because something similar on the Houston show, because if Westfield and Katie Taylor win, it's a Houston at AT&T Stadium in Dallas.
Yeah,
that doesn't make a lot of sense.
That probably would do very well for the ratings. But one of my things that I think, and I know this is going to break your heart because you are a Denton Guyer supporter, you are a Denton Guyer fan.
Are you really about to go against my Wildcats?
Yes, I think Spring Westfield beats Denton Guyer. How about that for a hot take?
What?
Yes.
What?
Well, from what I understand, and everybody in Houston knows this, it's supposed to be warm this weekend, like in Houston, like in the 80s.
Ugh.
What's up with that?
That's not winter weather.
Like, I've heard it's potential during that game that they're going to have heat indexes in the 90s.
Are we in December, Diggs? What is this?
Is Denton Guyer prepped for that? Is Denton Guyer ready to go to Houston 4 hours against Spring Westfield's defense? You propped up their defense last year.
Their defense is so good. I think their defense has allowed like the most 2 touchdowns in a game. Like I was telling in the Houston show, the key for Westfield will be shutting down Kedrick Cobbs. But can they really do that? Because he's so good.
He is that good. But I mean, we're talking about a defense, and we love Denton Guyer on this show. This show is like we could be the 5th quarter brought to you by John Walsh if we needed to, because we love John Walsh on this show. We love Denton Guyer. We love Kedrick Cobbs. We are Eli Stowers. We love them all. But at the end of the day, even with all of that vibes, when we look at their path this year, they've had a very easy playoff run.
Yeah.
They have not had a playoff run like Duncanville or Southlake or some of these other teams that have just been, or even Galena Park North Shore to that. Galena Park's had to win some.
Oh, they came out of the hardest district or the hardest region of them all.
Katy and Atascocita having to beat them. They have been tested. And then Guyer, they got tested against Cedar Hill, and what happened?
Yeah. They had to come back in the 4th quarter.
Magical comeback. They probably should have lost that game.
I mean, but it was beautiful.
Several times in the show, on our show, that when they play decent defenses to above average defenses, they don't look so well. I mean, the only thing that kept Denton Guyer from beating Cedar Hill wasn't their defense, it was their specialty.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, even when they played Keller Central, if you remember that conversation 10 weeks ago, we were really worried about that because when they played Keller Central kept them pretty much under wraps for a half. They they came about the second half. And you have talked about it on your Houston show, and Spring Westfield has probably top 5 defense in the state.
They're extremely good. I mean, every week, week in, week out, Spring Westfield is fantastic. I mean, the most I think they had scored on them all season was 24 points to North Shore.
So can Denton Geyer go to Houston, that 4-hour trip on a Saturday with that defense, and can they beat them? For me, I'm a little skeptical of it. So I think it might be the end of the line for our Denton Geyer Wildcats.
But that'll be 6A Division II with no DFW football in it.
It would be. But we've seen that before. Wasn't there like Waco Midway against one of them Size a couple of years ago?
It was Cy-Fair Midway, I think.
Cy-Fair Midway.
And that was the year that Cy-Fair won, 2017?
I lose interest when it's not Dallas area.
I mean, but it's got to be Dallas. We got to have some Denton Geyer in there.
You need Denton Geyer. I know.
I need Denton Geyer.
That's your vitamin D right there.
I know. I love Denton Geyer.
I know. And you've been talking it up since that Alito Geyer game, week 1, 16 weeks ago.
I know.
But this is the time for Denton Geyer to run out. I mean, their game last week against against Tascosa, we look at it and go, wow, they completely shut them down. But Tascosa's got one of those very quirky offenses that if you get on top of it and you keep them from doing their thing, you're going to blow them out. But nobody else has been able to do that. All the credit to Geyer's defense to be able to do that. But Geyer's defense has been exceptionally average at best this year. You look against all the top teams they've played, they've given up some. Cedar Hill, you look at Southlake. I mean, Southlake kind of took it to the ringer earlier in the year. You look at Alito, you look at both times they played Cedar Hill, and now you got a Spring Westfield team that's got at least an average to above average offense, and they've got an elite defense. How is Denton Geyer going to do? I think it's time to get on that Westfield wagon for your buddies in Houston.
I mean,
as much as I hate to say.
I'm staying. For the sake of the fact that I am talking about DFW, I am staying on the Geyer train.
No, you're staying on the Geyer train. You're gonna crash and burn.
Well, it's okay. For the Houston show, I was on the Westfield train. So at least I've got eggs in both baskets.
That's right. You can't lose that way, right?
Never. Me lose? No. As long as a Houston team or a DFW team play, I'm winning. Hashtag.
And I think if my belief system happens, you're going to have that internal battle for the state title as the longly anticipated rematch with Duncanville and Galena Park North Shore. I don't think anything's going to keep that from happening.
So you don't think Jackson Smith and Njigba is enough to beat Rockwall? Or to beat Duncanville?
Rockwall is 14-1 this year. Do you remember who they lost to?
They lost to Highland Park, didn't they?
Arlington Martin.
Okay.
Yes, they lost to Highland Park earlier. I guess you're right. They lost twice. They lost to Arlington Martin earlier in the year, and we saw what Duncanville did to Arlington Martin. I mean, that was just a beating, right? And transitive theory that out, I don't think Rockwall is anywhere close.
But I think if you think about it like this, though, Rockwall's kind of hit at the right time because as Diggsy said, and there's a ton of footage on this, that Rockwall doesn't win big games.
They don't win big games until they did. And they won one big game, in my opinion. Because I don't think beating Prosper or beating whatever Houston spare team they beat is winning big games. What is Houston's spare team did
they beat Collins.
Klein Collins. That's not a
bad win either. Or did they beat Klein Oak? It was Collins, I think.
One of those Klein Ice teams.
It was one of the Klein schools. That 15-6A district was pretty darn good, though.
Woodlands and Humboldt School, it's all just...
somewhere around there.
All North Houston.
Dixie, you keep me up way too late. So you say you're gonna get that Duncanville, Galena Park, North Shore. So what is your prediction for tomorrow's matchup then against Duncanville Rockwall? Besides the fact that Duncanville is gonna win.
I think Duncanville's not only going to win. I think they're going to blow them out. I think they could play with Rockwall and play with their food and still win that game by 3 touchdowns.
Play with their food, Dixie.
I think Duncanville wins a 49-28 sort of game. But in Rockwall's defensive repertoire makes you think that they're going to stop Duncanville at all. And this is a team that put up 50 against Southwood.
Isn't Duncanville hurting a little bit though right now? Isn't there? I think their secondary is on like their third.
We're talking about Rockwall's defense against Rockwall's offense. Their offense is.
But if your defense can't stop a guy like Jackson Smith and Njigba and Braden Locke, how do you expect it to not be like a 49-41 game or something like that?
I mean, that's Rockwall's chance. They're going to have to make it look like the Allen game, where they just completely shoot out. And one thing I was thinking of, and this is something you see, I think pretty much everybody's taking Duncanville universally. If this game was Duncanville versus Allen, for instance, in a hypothetical situation, wouldn't we be thinking Allen might have a chance? Allen could do this, Allen could do that.
Yeah.
But I don't see anybody, except unless you want to play the hypothetical karma police over here. I don't think anybody thinks Rockwell's going to beat Duncanville.
I mean, if they beat Duncanville tomorrow, I will be giving you a phone call to where we have you on camera apologizing to Rockwell for all the mean things that you've said to them this year.
And they would deserve it. And it doesn't matter because if Rockwell loses by 5 touchdowns tomorrow, they have redefined their program.
Oh, most definitely.
They got the big one against Allen. They got a sophomore quarterback. Even though they're not going to have Jackson Smith coming up in the next couple of years, they got Braden Locke coming back in the next couple of years. And it seems like they've had a good receiver for like the last 8 or 9 years. So they've had somebody there. I know Rodney Webb will have somebody to step in. They have a running back coming back. Yeah, Rockwall has established themselves as a DFW elite program. And nobody can take that away no matter what happens against Duncanville. But that being said, Duncanville is historically excellent. Duncanville has gotten into that higher gear at this. And I can't see Rockwall would literally have to outscore them and probably have 3-4 turnovers. But Duncanville's offense is good enough to where they can just decide, you know what, we're not even going to throw the ball. We're just going to run the ball with Jaquindon Jackson in our running game, and we're just going to wear them out. And Rockwall could do nothing.
I think that's one place where I think this is a more evenly matched game than most people think, because if Duncanville's secondary isn't doing as hot as they normally is hot because they have guys that are injured, that's pretty much the entire offensive scheme of Rockwall. And then you've got Duncanville, who all they do is run. I mean, granted they can throw, but if I've got to use Jaquindon Jackson's legs or his arm, I'm going with those legs all day.
Absolutely.
It'll be an interesting game.
It will be a fantastic game. I know it sounds like you're trying to promote it. So y'all go out there to McKinney ISD Stadium and watch that fantastic game.
Be there. I won't, but be there.
Fun, fantastic game. Are you going to go?
No, I've got to go. My brother's graduating college tomorrow. My brother graduated college tonight. He has his stuff tomorrow, so I have family obligations.
See, that's one of the fun things. I had to go be in graduation tonight, so that's why.
Oh,
one of the reasons
fun.
why you get to see me here at home instead of live with you in the studio.
Hi, Diggsy. It's so weird that you're not here. Okay, so Diggs, if Duncanville wins,
Yes.
when in your book, when I'm not going to go on record saying that. So in your book, when Duncanville wins, does North Shore beat Duncanville again? Because
I think it's Duncanville's time, and I can say that because I'm one of the few people who actually picked North Shore to win that game last year. When I looked at that matchup, I actually thought that North Shore would win, and I was actually surprised it was as close as it was, just because Duncanville had a lot more deficiencies last year. All these players that are now juniors and seniors were sophomores and juniors last year. I think they needed one more year. I think Samples needed one more year in that spotlight to get that program ready. And I think everything happens for a reason. And I think the reason in some sort of football karma that what happened to Coach Samples and that crew last year has led them to this point. And I think that will be a big intangible factor that's keeping them motivated at this point to continue to play excellent football.
So we have a couple more pretty big games on the docket. We've talked about Geyer. We've talked about the good old Rockwall Duncanville game. Now, we've got 2 more big games. Aledo plays tomorrow. versus Cooper. And Lone Star, Denton Ryan. Let's start with Alito because I want to end on Lone Star, Denton Ryan.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's going to be.
We've talked about this all year, haven't we?
Oh.
We've been talking about that game. I want to interrupt you for just a little bit because I think in a statewide perspective, a lot of us are kind of penciling in Austin Westlake and Lake Travis. In certain variants, we think that Galena Park is going to just beat Lake Travis. And a lot of people think Austin Westlake will beat Katy Taylor this week. How good are those two programs in Central Texas? I mean, we're talking about Todd Dodge over at Westlake, and Lake Travis is consistently this far into the playoffs. You can't. I think Austin Westlake is a favorite, but I don't think Lake Travis is a favorite. You can't count Lake Travis out in that Galena Park North Shore game. So just something to keep an eye on those great Central Texas.
Didn't Martin beat Lake Travis at the beginning of the season?
What's that?
Didn't Martin beat Lake Travis at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, Martin beat Lake Travis at the beginning. But again, Lake Travis in Week 16 is a completely different animal than Lake Travis in Week 1. And we've seen that consistently where teams have really gotten better. Wimberley is a great example of that. I mean, this is a team
My cousin played for Wimberley.
Remember Wimberley?
So it was funny. I was actually going through some old tapes up here, and Brady Lambert is my god brother. And him and his brother West both won state championships while they were at Wimberley.
Nice.
And so I just happened to find that tape and like send it to them. I'm like, oh my gosh, look what I found!
You go, and Wimberley has a big game against Silsbee. Scores coming in at any point, so we'll see how that ended up. But we could see Wimberley at AT&T next week.
Ooh.
But again, I know you want to talk about Alito, Lubbock, Cooper, and we will talk about it. But again, I don't get out my craw. And we talked about it last week significantly on our show that Sam Harrell should have gone for 2. I still am just thinking about that. I think Alito is fortunate to be here. But I could give you the same speech I gave you for the Ennis game. I think Alito is 4 touchdowns better than Lubbock Cooper and going to be self-destruction from Alito. That's the only thing that's going to keep that game close. And we almost saw the perfect self-destruction against Ennis. 3 turnovers. All 3 turnovers would be 3 points for Ennis. It's going to take something like that. Lubbock Cooper, it's got some good size, but I mean, just skilled players, talent-wise, Alito is, I think, 24 and 28 points better.
You know, that could be another rematch of last year's state championship game because Fort Bend Marshall plays tomorrow too. So it could be Fort Bend Marshall. Okay, and I very much believe Fort Bend Marshall can win that game, but a Fort Bend Marshall Alito rematch.
Boy, that'll be fun. And this year, I think Alito is a little less well-rounded this year, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Most definitely. And then you've got Fort Bend Marshall, who is way more well-rounded than they were last year with Malik Hornsby, Devon A-Chain on the offensive side. And then you've got Avery Helm, who's kind of leading their defensive secondary. It's crazy.
And Jason McClellan, we know, is not at 100%.
Yeah.
And he's going out there, gutting it out every single week.
I honestly think unless Alito gets in a bad spot, don't put Jace McClellan in.
I think you just play. I think you give him the week off unless you're down at halftime.
Yeah.
If something like that happens, okay, maybe tape him up and do whatever you got to do to get to the state title. But see how your Hosses do, just straight up against Lubbock Cooper. And even without him, I would still say that Alito's probably 2 touchdowns better.
Oh yeah, probably. I mean, they're always well rounded, but I want to see that 9th state championship get that record 9th state championship.
Nobody wants to see a 9th state championship.
I do. Don't listen to Diggs.
Yes, Miss Alito, Miss Hazel.
Don't listen to Diggs, anybody. I want to see it. I want to see a 9th state championship. So last but not least, then Diggs.
Yes.
Denton Ryan.
Let's go Rockstar against Denton Ryan. And I'm probably the most hated person in Denton right now. This one I've already picked against Denton Guyer.
I know.
You know what I'm going to say.
You're really trying to piss Denton off.
I think I already have. But at least with Denton Guyer, it's fun and love because we've been on the Denton Guyer bandwagon for the majority of the year. Denton Ryan, they've had some very pointed things to say. If you've checked out Twitter, they've been coming after me.
So, honestly, I feel like we, this year, have not talked about Denton Ryan all that much.
Well, Well, we because we know that they are playing easy region, and we knew that they were going to be here. We didn't know that it could be Frisco Lone Star, it could have been Highland Park, it could have been a team like Lancaster. We didn't know who was going to come out of Region 2. We knew they were going to be very well tested, whoever ended up coming out of Region 2. But we could say Denton Ryan's going to make it to the state semifinals from realignment the last 2 years. They've had to play nobody. I think a good metaphor I can give you, if you're not familiar with Ryan, you're a Frisco Lone Star fan, is probably the best team that Denton Ryan has beaten this year is probably at the Frisco Independence level, that kind of a team. And we know Lone Star beat Frisco Independence by about 40. Denton Ryan has been beating all the teams they've been playing by about 40 all year.
Yeah.
So you have Denton Ryan, and we've been talking a bit. We talk about Sanders just about every week.
That's a good point. I just don't feel like we give them a ton of credit for how well they performed this year. And even last year, I don't feel like I gave, on the warm-up, we gave them a ton of credit for how well they play every year.
They do play well, but they also beat teams they're expected to beat.
Yeah.
And at some level, that's good. You have to beat the teams you're expected to beat. There are plenty of times where we see teams lose to teams that they're not supposed to lose to, and we're like, how did that happen? And Denton Ryan is not at that level where they're going to get upset. I mean, they are just consistently 4 to 5 touchdowns better than the teams they play. But they did not schedule a very strong non-district schedule. They have in the past, but this year it's been kind of iffy. In teams that they scheduled that we expected to be good, like the Skeet Cheat, really weren't as good and didn't really test them like we thought they might have tested them. And then their district, it had the top and the bottom. It had Grapevine, you had Colleyville Heritage, and Birdville. Nice teams at the bottom of that district with Denton, Carrollton, Newman Smith, Creekview, and R.L. Turner. Not exactly a kind of a district that's going to test them. So they have won every game, but there's not been a game they've played this year that they were not more than a 4-touchdown favorite. I mean, they were expected to win every game they've won this year in the manner that they have. So they have met our expectations. But we have so much to talk about with a team like Frisco Lone Star, who has played 5 games against teams better than the best team that Ryan has played. They had 2 wins over Highland Park. They had a very nice win over College Station. They had a great win over the Colony in the game we're still talking about, and then beating Lancaster. I mean, those are 5 games that beat Denton Ryan's best game, and they have overcome adversity. And against Lancaster, I saw flashes of their defense coming back. And with Denton Ryan, we just don't know what we're going to get from them because they haven't played anybody that's a 50-50 at all this year.
You know what I think would be interesting? So the winner of the 6A Division 1 playing the winner of, or 5A Division 1 playing the winner of 5A Division 2. I want to see it happen.
That would be fun. We could even have like a 3-week tournament and have all these 10, 12 winners have a little bracket and have like a little battle royal. But at that point, we got kids playing 20 games and probably a little too much.
Boo.
I think it's awesome, though, that Texas high school football, if you make it to the state championship, you've played more football than you'll play in college, even if you win.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I think it's funny that we're watching all of these people, or we're watching the NFL or trying to talk about expanding. They're talking about expanding games for college, and everyone's up in arms about it all.
Oh, yeah. And football is inherently a tough game, and there are so many programs around the area that plays 10 games, and that's it. That's their football season. And you have to give credit to Denton Ryan because for the last 4 or 5 years they have played 15 games, but they've been unable to get past this roadblock. And it's a roadblock that they have to prove to the high school football world that they can win these games. The coaching staff has to prove it to themselves. The players have to prove it to themselves. I would say 3 or 4 years ago when they played Highland Park for the first time with Spencer Sanders, they were a favorite in that game. We were expecting them to beat Highland Park by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and then they could do it. So Denton Ryan has to prove something to the high school football community, and it'll be a fun opportunity. It'll be an opportunity for them to succeed. I don't think they are. I'm going to take Frisco Lone Star in this game by 9 points. But
9?
Denton Ryan, 9 points.
Okay.
Two scores. I think there'll be a 2-point conversion that's gone wrong, something there. And this extra point in Frisco Lone Star will do something to get it to a 9-point advantage. But I think that Denton Ryan loses this game by 2 scores. I think it'll be a good game, back and forth. I think it'll be kind of like the Lancaster game, where Denton Ryan or Frisco Lone Star is up on them in the third and fourth quarter. Denton Ryan is trying to play catch up, and they just never come.
I think it'll be an interesting game to watch regardless. I don't think it's going to be some big blowout game that I've seen some people predicting or saying because because they're
not smart.
I think it's going to be a good game though. I honestly Denton Ryan's defense, like when I went and watched that game most recently in person, their defense was so good. And offensively, it just every time you turn around, there's another weapon or there's another person getting the ball.
But they're beating bad teams.
Yeah.
And you can't say Colleyville Heritage is a bad team. You can't say Burntville's a bad team. They're beating above average teams. But they have not done this to an elite team. And Frisco Lone Star has played some elite teams. Doing it twice to Highland Park tells you all you need to know. Because they had the heart of a champion, and they had to put them down at AT&T. They were able to put them down at AT&T.
So I know you're small school Digsy. I know Brock and Pottsboro was the game that you were watching on Thursday. Are there any other small schools that you would like to discuss with us, Digsy?
Well, on Thursday, a French DFW team lost. Valley View lost a post, so we're a little sad about that. Wanted to make them there. We wanted to find them to the playoffs. Gunter, they'll be playing Canadian as we're waiting for scores to come in. I think Canadian is probably going to be a favorite in that game. And of course, Grandview, hopefully the Zebras will be able to beat Columbus. Columbus, a team in your neck of the woods, your Houston side.
I know. I actually did a preview for that, and I had to talk about it on the warm up for them. I was like, "Oh, the Zebras!"
The Zebras. Did you have any insight into Columbus, knowing nothing about Columbus?
So they have a running back. His name's Tyree Simchick, and I know that they say the quality of players aren't always as good in the lower tiers of football, but this kid is a hoss. Like you give him the ball, and there will be a touchdown no matter where he is on the field. I mean, he just runs through people and runs hard. He's a solid running back, like something that you want to see from a running back. He just gets in there. He doesn't matter. He reminds me a little bit of E.J. Smith. Just gets in there, not scared to get hit, and goes right at you.
And we're still fresh off Jordan Whittington's performance at Cuero, and if you get those small schools, a player can make a big difference like that.
Yeah.
In those kind of football games. So that will definitely be something for Grandview. But, I mean, we're talking about a Grandview team who won state last year and everybody just about.
I mean, I just like their big blow up that they have, the big zebra.
The zebra with the head hanging.
Yeah, that's kind of my favorite blow up I've ever seen in my life.
You should see the Lake Worth Bullfrogs. That's an interesting one as well.
So I played Lake Worth in high school.
Yeah.
They were.
Have you seen the blow up?
Yes. Well, unless it's changed in the last 10 years. Diggs, I've been out of high school for 10 years next year.
Well, you're old. I mean, that's
Hey! You're real old then.
Uh-oh, you're pointing up at me. I'm in trouble. Yes.
Pointing at you at the camera.
But state championship football, and then you're stuck talking about basketball by yourself.
Well, speaking of basketball, Glenn Smith is on next with us. He's the founder of Hoop Fest. But Diggsy, I can't believe it. I only have you for one segment this week. But we'll be back in person at AT&T next week, though.
We will see about all that.
We're gonna be at AT&T.
We'll see about all that. Might be on Skype. Find out.
You don't want to come to AT&T with me?
We'll find out. There's media credentials and whatnot.
I'll get you a credential.
Everybody says that, but I don't want to take credentials away from them.
You won't take it away from anybody. We have 4 shows here.
You're gonna put me on sport. What's that?
I'm gonna put you on Sports Stars or something.
Sports Stars.
Not Diggs, Sports Stars.
What are you and Glenn Rice going to talk about? I'm curious.
Oh, no. Glenn Smith.
Glenn Smith. What are you and Glenn Smith are going to talk about?
We are going to talk about all the things that happen around Texas high school basketball. Not just DFW. We're going to talk about Houston. We're going to talk about so many fun things. But we will be back with that right after these messages. Bye, Diggs.
Don't forget to catch our extended coverage of the high school football season each week on The Warm Up, presented by your local North Texas Geico agents. We will get you ready for all the action this Thursday on all our social media outlets. Watch Inside High School Sports to catch this week's MVP, brought to you by GiveMeTheVin.com. These MVP athletes make it look easy, just like GiveMeTheVin.com makes it easy to sell your car.
Here with the founder of the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest, Glenn Smith. Glenn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm good, thank you. And thank you so much for coming on the fifth quarter. We're so excited that basketball season is tipping off. You kind of have a different perspective as you get to see teams not only from DFW but all over the country. But talking about Texas high school basketball, who are some of the teams that you have seen so far this season or that you're really looking forward to watching this season?
Well, you have to start off with the reigning state champion, Duncanville High School. A lot of people thought they may have been a one-hit wonder, but they've definitely reloaded. They're really, really playing well. They bought into what David Peavy is teaching, and they're probably one of the most solid teams, not only in the state, but in the country. You also have to
Uh,
look at as well. They're playing really good basketball.
I mean, we got to go to some games in the past couple of weeks, and seeing some of these teams, they're just phenomenal. These high school, what you would think of high school boys, they look like grown men playing. Are there any players around the DFW area that you've seen that you're really excited to watch them grow over the next year, or that you think they're going to have a breakout year?
Um, I would have to say that there's a kid over at Kimball High School who's a sophomore. His name is Ontario. I can't recall his last name right now, but he really had a really good showing at the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest this year, and he really hasn't let up. He has a chance to be really, really special as long as he just kind of stays straight, stays humble, and just continues to get better. He could be the next big thing out of BW.
So one of the things that we've kind of noticed is that it's hard. The talent around DFW and in Houston is so good. You thought it dropped off after the players like Jaden Smith, R.J. Hampton, and all of those guys went on to the next level. But you're starting to see some players really start making their names for themselves. Who are some of those players in your book? Since you get to see some of the top talent that there is.
Harrison Ingram over at St. Mark's has really, really blossomed. He had a really good showing against Jalen Green at the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest, where he got an offer from Penny Hardaway at the University of Memphis, and he's really skyrocketed. Um, I would also say Mike Miles over at Lancaster. He's really starting to come into his own. He was signed late, which is really going to make him really, really a priority for a lot of people because there's always a market for a big point guard real late in the recruiting season.
Are there any Houston area teams that you've seen that you're kind of impressed with so far? I know we've talked a lot about DFW, but are there any Houston area teams that you've just been really impressed with so far?
Yes, ma'am. Morton Ranch with LJ Cryer, he's really been scoring the ball really well. He's committed to Baylor. He's probably one of the most exciting guards in the state right now, as well as Dickinson. They have Trayvon Mark. Once they get everyone eligible, Houston Yates is probably one of the most exciting teams in the state as well.
Um, you know, it's been interesting to watch how sports have developed from when I was in high school 10 years ago to now. How have you seen the high school basketball just kind of field change over the years?
It's become, well, in Texas in general, it's become more of a hotbed for all college recruiters. Like, normally on each staff in the country, they have at least one guy that they have to have Texas ties to because one, Texas is so big, and then there's so many guys that go under the radar that have been able to not only go to mid-major schools throughout the country, but also make an impact. I think one that kind of jumps off at the page is C.J. Massenberg. Nobody in the state recruiting him, but he goes to Buffalo and he's a two-time Player of the Year at the University of Buffalo, and they made a really good run in the NCAA tournament last year.
So it's cool. Before we had started the camera, we were kind of talking about the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest. That's become a very big event. Talk about some of these tournaments, and not only the chance for these players to get the reps playing before district starts and before season starts, but getting in front of these college coaches that they might not normally be able to get in front of.
I think high school teams playing in high level, high exposure events are almost a must these days. Because once they get into their district, a lot of the better teams, they're the big fish in their district, and then they'll just run through district. So playing in events such as the Thanksgiving Hoop Fest or the Whataburger tournament, it gives them an opportunity to play against top tier quality competition to prepare them for a deep run in the playoffs as well as making it to state.
A couple more questions and then I'll let you go. I know you've got a busy day ahead of you, but are there any dark horse teams in the DFW area and in the Houston area that you think people should look out for?
Richardson High School in Dallas. They jump off at the page automatically. They probably have the most exciting young backcourt in the country with Rylan Griffin and Kason Wallace. Both those guys are sophomores. They remind me of the old Horton days. The old Horton brothers at Cedar Hill. Out of Houston, I would have to say Seven Lakes. They have a really good team. They've been playing pretty well here lately. They normally sneak up on a couple people, and I think they're primed to make a really good run in the playoffs.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to add or want people to know about the Texas high school basketball scene that's coming up on us for Inside High School Sports very, very soon?
The Texas basketball is up there with any other state. You know, we are known to be a football state, but we really produce some really good players. If you look in the past 10 years, the state of Texas has had at least 2 McDonough All-Americans come out of the state, if not just DFW in particular, as well as, you know, we've had 3 guys in Dallas alone that skipped college and went straight pro with R.J. Hampton, Terrence Ferguson, and Emmanuel Moutier. I think that now people are really starting to take Texas as a state serious in basketball because of the talent that we produce and the consistency of the talent that we have produced.
Awesome. Glenn, well, thank you so much for joining us on the Fifth Quarter. We will be right back after these messages.
The Inside Story is driven by your North Texas Honda dealers. Right now, they can help you get great deals on award-winning Hondas. It's their job to be helpful, so stop by your local helpful Honda dealer today.
And we are back, and we have my best friend, the Wizard, finally back with us. And I don't have to carry around a cell phone and walk into your office. I actually got you on set with me.
It's a very long walk over here. She's lucky to get me there. For a big guy like myself, I don't like walking too much.
Well,
she has to come to me.
Wiz.
Yes.
We're almost there.
That is true. State's right around the corner.
State is right around the corner.
For some teams, they're already there. For others, we won't know till tomorrow.
How excited are you for state next weekend?
Pretty excited, guy. It's going to be a nice, real crowded. You're actually going to go out.
I'm going to be there.
She's not going to be stuck in this room. She'll be there with us.
Yes, I am.
It's going to be some good stuff. We should have some good representatives from DFW. I'm looking forward to seeing who wins tomorrow. I know you guys probably talked.
We talked
at
all
length
up
about
and down about tomorrow.
You want to know my predictions?
Yes.
So you don't have to sell me out on Twitter. I'll tell you my predictions.
Yes,
not
take
hers.
his predictions. He's not going to be saying
My
that Highland
predictions
Park's beating
are
Lone Star.
By the way, they only lost in overtime. Dang. Oh, she makes it sound like it was the biggest mistake pick of all time.
It was huge.
Lone Star, I got you winning now. How about that? I got Alito winning. I have Duncanville winning. And Denton Guyer winning. So we got 4 teams going to state as far as I'm concerned. But who knows how it's going to play out. But you will see the highlights tomorrow evening, 6:30.
I mean, I might have Rockwall winning, but
do you have Rockwall winning?
I think I have Rockwell beating Duncanville.
It could be a good game. Y'all come after her.
Yeah, come after me. But I don't think they beat North Shore if North Shore makes it.
Yeah, North Shore looks like they're on new level, man. I don't even know.
North Shore looks like a college team almost.
I'm not even sure Duncanville wants to mess with them, to be honest with you, except for the revenge factor. If they don't get healthy quick, I don't even know if they want to mess with them.
So, Wiz, how has this season been? We're kind of wrapping up the season. Next week's going to be all state all the time, so we really don't have as much extra time to talk. But what have been some of your favorite moments as the producer of Inside High
I
School
tell you
Sports?
what, I've talked about this with people here. We've had years where we had 2-3 quarterbacks that are amazing, and we've had years that we've had 3 to 5 running backs that are amazing. But this year with the 2 receivers, Mims, Smith, Nigjigba, I don't think we've had another year where we had 2 unbelievably dynamic. They're playing like top 5 in the nation in our same area where they're almost unguardable. You put 2 on them, they'll outrun them, they'll find their way to open. To me, it's just amazing to have 2 receivers, and they're still playing. It's not like they're done after the regular season. We're now in the state semis and still playing. So these are guys you guys need to see, especially if they make it to state. If you catch these 2 on the biggest stage with the national media looking in on it, I don't even know what kind of show they're going to put on. But that's what I've enjoyed the most, going out and covering those 2 guys and just the plays they make despite being double, triple teamed all the time.
I'll have to say, one of the things, I was telling Diggs about this, but one of the things that I've found most enjoyable about this season is that, I mean, besides Alito, obviously,
Right.
but besides the Alito factor, the teams that are making it to state, the teams that are playing in these state semifinals aren't teams that you always see.
Right.
They're not teams that you're like, oh, that's the top team all the time, winning state. Sorry, Highland Park. But that's not the top team that you see all the time doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
And to me, I think that's pretty amazing. That like this season alone, my second season here, it's not the normal, typical, everyday who you would think's in the state semifinals.
And it's not like the teams that they've gone through had off years.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Diggs always likes to say, if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Well, Rockwell beat the man Allen in a 2-point conversion. Lone Star beat Highland Park in overtime. These are the teams that gave them competition, and they just proved they were just that much better than them. It's not like these teams had down years. They just got beat by a better team this year, and it's a different team. And I agree with you. It's cool kind of seeing different teams go in there. That's why I mean, Duncanville was in it last year, but it's not like they have a perennial list of games, state championships games, one right after another. But if Rockwell made it, it'd be kind of cool just to see that team. They haven't been it since, I think, a viewer told me 1987 is the last time.
I wasn't born then.
Yeah, she was just whatever she was, a thought.
That wasn't even a
wait,
thought. I wasn't even
called
a
her
thought.
thought.
Oh, hey!
What the heck? I'm using the slang the kids use on the street.
I don't even know what that means. Please don't tell me. I don't need to know.
Don't use it. Let me tell you what else is on the show, best friend.
Perfect.
We have a piano playing maniac. You know what? She edits right next door to me. And I had her singing Bohemian Rhapsody all day yesterday just because Garrett Rangel from
Y'all didn't know I could sing?
Frisco Lone Star
What?
is an accomplished pianist, and he's going to show off his skills in the show this week. He uses it to kind of decompress after a long day of being the quarterback of the #1 team in 5A in the state. And he'll go up and play and just get his mind off of things. And we were running his video left and right, and poor Ashley had to listen to Bohemian Rhapsody probably 1,000 times in one day.
And then I cut a preview for it.
That's
That was
right.
great.
So we'll have that. We'll have a flashback that Duncanville fans won't want to see because it's of last year's Hail Mary North Shore game. But it was a great moment that happened in the last 25 years. A tremendous game. Panthers aren't going to want to see it, so kind of turn away for a second. And then we have but then you want to turn right back in because they have Offensive Player of the Year who could be from Duncanville. We don't know. Who could it be? I will tell you, we went on site to do this story, and they have an amazing gym at whatever place we went to. So that will be some
Very
good stuff, and
interesting.
I'm actually working on our 25th year special, which will air 3 times. The first time on the 21st at 5 o'clock, and then 2 other subsequent times. It's good stuff, man. I love going through all the history. I know she's helped me out over the whole summer, digging through all the tapes that we had, because we had tapes.
A lot of tapes.
It'd be easier if it was all on the computer, but we weren't like that back then.
We had to put this big VCR looking thing in my office to make sure
You
all
know
of
what a
these
VCR
tapes
is,
got it.
people?
No,
Do you
none of
know?
them know what a VCR is.
But we dug through the tapes, and you're going to see some crazy stuff that we had over the past 25 years. It's good to look back at these things.
We're super excited for that. Ward's been working so hard on it. But Wizzy, thank you for joining me. I've missed you
No
so
problem.
much.
I'm back. The Waco kid's off the trail. I'm off the trail.
Well, that's all we have for tonight's episode of the 5th quarter. So excited that everyone got to join me. I hope you enjoyed this very special edition with basketball, football, and the Wizard. But thank you so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow night on Wingstop Inside High School Sports at 6:30 p.m. on NBC5.
With who? Paul Jones.
Paul Jones.